Hello everyone, my name is Nefty. I am an ESL teacher, teacher trainer, academic director and program developer at Natural English faculty in Spain. On Saturday the 22nd, I'm going to be having a presentation titled From Touching Hearts to Touching Hearts, an English Teachers in Peru Community Live that is going to be about how to create emotional links between students and teachers in order to make them speak in English all the time. So we are going to try to reach our students' emotions for them to speak English 100% in the English class, no matter what level they have. So this is just focused on basic levels, but it can be adapted to all the levels of English. So it is going to be a very interesting webinar where I'm going to give you strategies and updated activities for you to use in your English classrooms. So don't miss it. See you on Saturday. Bye-bye.
Hi everyone, my name is Alicia Lara and I'm the director of Bases Languages and Training. I know we are experiencing harsh times, but I also know there are extraordinary people out there who are trying to make the most of these difficult times. In this opportunity, and thanks to the amazing human team at English Teachers in Peru, I will be offering a webinar next Friday, August the 28th. And in this webinar, we'll be able to talk about the importance of our role as teachers in this context of having to teach to our students online. We'll also talk about the importance of certifying our English level by taking international examinations. Want to know more about these two interesting topics? Join us next Friday, August the 28th. See you there.
Hello everyone, I'm Mariela Condorena. Thank you all for finding time and visiting today's webinar, From Touching Hands to Touching Hearts. Before we start today, let me explain how you can talk to us during the webinar. You have to consider these directions. Please type your questions in the comment section together with your name and place of living. The answers to your questions and comments will be replied by our guest speaker at the end of the webinar in the question time session. And finally, when finishing the webinar, we will share a link for you to have access to the exit ticket, which will be available for 45 minutes. Okay, now it's time to know our international speaker, Mr. Julio Tumé. Could you introduce her, please?
Sure, Ms. Mariela, thank you. Okay, so continuing with this webinar series, it is my pleasure today to introduce Magister Nefty. Nefty has been involved in English language teaching and training for nearly 15 years as a language coach, teacher trainer, academic manager, and school director. For many years, she has also been teaching abroad, training trainers and academic managers, as well as providing business and academic consultancy for private language schools. Her current positions are ESL teacher, teacher trainer, program developer, and academic manager at Natural English Faculty, Spain. She is also an expert in the field of methodology for second language learning based on the natural approach. And today, her webinar, From Touching Hands to Touching Hearts. In strange and uncertain times, such as those we are living in, sometimes we have to move on and change the strategy. Suddenly, teachers have had to change their strategies and approaches when facing their classes. When home becomes offices, personal life becomes public, and family members are the new school background. We definitely have to claim that the pandemic is forcing educators, parents, and students to think in a different way, since real change takes place in deep crisis. Big challenges are about to come, and that's why this is a great moment for learning how to move from teaching touching hands to teaching touching hearts. This webinar is an attempt to show teaching as a form of caring, which will provide students with the intrinsic motivation to learn English in a more natural and effective way. We will be able to learn how to reach our students' emotions in order to make them learn in a relaxing environment, as well as how to create emotional links, which will facilitate the teaching learning process. Let's welcome Ms. Nefty Fortes with a warm hand.
Thank you very much, Mr. Tome, for your kind introduction. I'm not quite sure that I deserve that much. Hello, everyone. It's midnight here in Spain, 6 p.m. there in Peru, and it is a pleasure for me to be part of this fantastic project called English Teachers in Peru Community Life. First of all, I would like to thank the organization and all the people who are working behind the scenes, moderators and administrators, but above all, I feel extremely thankful for having had the opportunity of meeting the head of all this awesome community, Ms. Mariela Condorena, who is not only a vocational teacher who goes beyond her school program, but also a person who's really concerned about the education in her country, who helps thousands of teachers every day, providing them with resources, free material, and training for them to become the best teachers in Peru. And taking into account that this is a webinar about caring, I want to take this moment to thank teachers like Ms. Mariela for always caring. Thanks a million. All right, before starting, I would like to know where you're watching from and what kind of students you teach. So put there in the comment section the students that you've got, if they are preschoolers, maybe teenagers or kids, and the levels, and where you are watching this webinar from. So let's, meanwhile, share my screen. Wait a second. Right. And let me see if I can read some of your comments here. So yeah, we've got people from Peru, of course, Chiclayo, Mexico as well. So we are here with a lot of people from all over the world. There are a lot of teenagers, teachers, preschoolers, Peru as well, Lima, Peru, primary levels, teenagers again, Trujillo. Right, so welcome everybody. This webinar is gonna be about all levels and all kinds of students, but we are gonna try to center our attention there on basic level, especially teenagers, but all the activities can be adapted to any kind of level and students. All right, Tonight, as I told you before, I'm going to talk to you about how teachers can adapt to the new situation by creating emotional links with our students and by using meaningful activities to touch their hearts. You know, because students won't be able to touch each other now with this new situation. They won't be able to touch their hands any longer or to move around. We teachers, we are not going to be able to do activities like kinesthetic ones, for example. So now we have to try to touch their hearts. We have to try to reach their emotions in order to teach English. So let's touch their hearts. And this webinar is addressed to all these teachers who are vocational, all these teachers who are teachers from the heart, right? This is going to be a very interactive workshop, so get ready to type in the comments section. Let's begin. These are the goals that we are going to have today, right? So at the end of this webinar, students that this time are you teachers will be able to create emotional links between the teacher and students, use warm-ups effectively, personalize every single activity to connect with our students' personal interests, make students think directly in English, and use engaging videos to improve our students' listening and speaking skills, right? So now, I want that all of you now close your eyes, right? Don't cheat, just close your eyes and imagine that you are there on a beautiful beach. It is really quiet, it is really calm. So close your eyes, think that you are with a person that you love, or maybe alone, or maybe with your family, but just close your eyes, right? Try to now listen to the music and enjoy. 20 seconds, listen to the music. Right. Do you notice something different on me? Use the chat box, please. Do you notice something different on me? Let's see. Let's see. Right. I'm wearing a face mask. So for all those of you that think that teaching English is tough, for all of you that think that teaching pronunciation is really difficult, for all of you that think that, I don't know, that teaching, understanding English is also difficult. For our students that think that the listening part is the most difficult part of English language. Imagine now that you have to wear face masks. Now when schools reopen, everybody has to wear face masks, teachers and students. And it is really difficult for students to understand us. It's really difficult when they cannot see our mouth moving, our lips, our tongues. It is tough. But we are going to see some strategies on how to teach in an effective way now that we are going to use face masks, right? This is the new reality and we have to get adapted to this new reality. Wearing face masks is really tough for English teachers. Let me take it off. And now, I want to tell you that some people, some parents think that English teachers are not important. They see us like lazy people laying down on a sofa, just maybe chatting with a computer in front of us, eating pizza, drinking soda. They think that we do not deserve our salary now that we are teaching from home. They think that we have a very good life teaching online. They think that we are not important, yeah, that we have a great life. But the reality is different. We have to work in our houses. We have to plan better. We have to spend much more time planning. We have to dedicate more time. Maybe they're correcting homework, checking things. We have to be connected all the time. The reality is different. Sometimes we want just to give up. And this is how it really is. We are just surrounded by teaching staff, but a lot of papers. Our space at home that previously was shared maybe with other members of our family now is our office. Nobody can enter, nobody can pass by because they can interrupt us, they can disturb us. We have to dedicate much more time to teaching. We are not lazy people. Now we are more busy than before. And sometimes we think, oh my God, it's 8 p.m. and we haven't eaten lunch yet. I haven't seen my children for days and I have to check homework just to end up. What a nightmare. This is the reality. We are not lazy people. But for those who think that English teachers, when teaching online, are lazy, I'm going to give you an evidence to tell you that English teachers are important. Teachers are the most important people for a country, for a society. And you know what? When crisis comes, they come in order to teach us a lesson. And this is the lesson. Teachers are important. And if you don't believe me, I'm going to give you a reason. I'm going to give you an evidence. If you have heard about the latest news about COVID-19, you must know that Russia has already a vaccination. And you know what? They're going to put the vaccination, they're going to apply the vaccination first to doctors and teachers, and then to the rest of the population. So I'm sorry if you think that teachers are not important, but we definitely are. Right. So now use the comment section to tell me, for you, what are the characteristics that a teacher must have? So I'm going to give you some seconds to read some of your comments. Type there, what are the characteristics that teachers must have according to your opinion, right? Let's see. Let's see your comments. They are great for everyone. They are important, right? They are good people, right? Very nice. Okay, so I'm gonna give you some definitions of teachers according to the internet. Good teachers are strong communicators. Good teachers listen well. Good teachers focus on collaboration. Good teachers are adaptable and flexible. Good teachers are engaging. Good teachers show empathy. Good teachers have patience. And good teachers share best practices. We are mentors. We are coaches. We are problem solvers. We are passionate. We are supportive. We are leader. We care. We are friends, and some days we have to be also parents. So we are very important for nowadays society, more important in times of crisis. And now I have another question for you that you must answer there on the chat box, there in the comment section. So, and the question is, how could we connect more with our students, especially basic levels, teenagers or other kinds of ages, but how could we connect more with our students? Tell me about your strategies, tell me about your techniques to connect more with our students. Let me give you some seconds. I'm going to read some comments, right? Yvonne Pinillo says tolerant, patient, organized, creative, riskers. Yeah, teachers are like that. Carmen Neira says friend, leaders, using empathy, definitely. Right, so now how could we connect more with our students? Tell me strategies, techniques that you use in order to connect more with our students. Right, for example, Gehiri, I don't know if it is pronounced like that. Armenta says, ask about their feelings. Yeah, this is a way to connect. Beatriz Flores says, understanding students more. Good. Viviana says, joking. Totally, Viviana. I really appreciate your comment, joking, because I'm going to tell you a way to connect with our students better. That is through humor. Good. So I totally agree with you guys. Humor, according to Professor Melissa Wanzer, is one instructional tool that teachers can use in the classroom to increase their effectiveness, right? So you have to use positive and good humor in your classes through riddles, funny stories, jokes, funny pictures, videos, etc. Use humor because it's a very effective way in order to connect with your students, in order to create these emotional links that I have told you before. And we're going to start thinking about this strategy that is about humor and how to use it. But first of all, I want you to ask you another question. Do you believe in fortune telling? Can fortune tellers predict the future? So what do you think? Good. Some people, yeah, they believe. Some other people don't. Yeah, I suppose. But I'm going to demonstrate today that teachers can also be fortune tellers. Teachers can also predict the future. And you would say, how? Yes, you can predict the future. Apart from all the excuses that students put that they are predictable, that you can predict them, for example, when they have a test and suddenly they want to go to the toilet, or when you assign, for example, a writing activity and suddenly they have a terrible headache, or for example, when you assigned homework the day before and they didn't bring the notebook. All these excuses are predictable, so you have predicted what was going on there. But apart from that, we can predict the future. Look at these pictures and tell me, in this picture, what is the cat going to do? Let's see if you can predict it. What is the cat going to do? You got it right. The cat is going to poop. Excellent. Next picture. Let's see. What is the man going to do? Good. He's going to kick the ball. Excellent. Next one. What is the dog, going to do? Yeah, the dog is going to bite a woman. Okay, so we don't know. Next one. What is going to happen here? Good. That man is going to kiss the ground. Or that man is going to hit his head on the ground. And finally, what is going to happen here? Good. The shark is going to have a delicious lunch. You see, you can predict the future. Every one of you predicted what was going to happen in each picture. So this is a way using funny pictures to teach future. Why? Because the students are not going to pay attention to the grammar. They are not going to pay attention to the structure itself. They are going to pay attention to the picture, to the funny picture. So they are going to be relaxed in order to talk, right? They are not going to be analyzing situation. Just they are going to have fun and talk about the pictures without pressure. That is a way through humor to make them talk as well, right? Other people or other teachers think that another way to connect with your students is through using L1 or Spanish language in your classes. What do you think? Use the chat box. Should we use L1 in an ESL class? Never, hardly ever, always? Is it necessary to use Spanish in your classrooms? What do you think? Tell me about it. Let me see your comments. Some people think that it's necessary to use Spanish there in the classes. Some other people think that it is not. Some other people think that you must always use Spanish in the classes. Others put never, like Beatriz RG, hardly ever, Raul, Santiago. Good. These are all your comments. I'm going to tell you that using L1 in an ES classroom is a mistake, right? It's a mistake. You can use L1, you can use Spanish just in certain circumstances. So hardly ever, right? And I'm going to tell you how to avoid using Spanish in the classes, because some of you, maybe because you don't have that level of English or that confidence in order to teach a class 100% in English, or maybe because you think that you can connect more with your students because your students are Spanish, and they're gonna understand you better, or maybe because I don't know, you've got maybe 1,000 reasons in order to use Spanish, but don't use it. You have to encourage your students to use English, and the way to encourage your students to use English is by using the classroom language, for example, from the very beginning, from the very first class. What is a classroom language? The typical sentences like, for example, how do you say in English, blah, blah, blah. But teach them to use these sentences only for you to translate words, not sentences. So for example, how do you say in English, comprar, teacher? But they sometimes don't want to make the effort. They don't want to try in English. They just want to be listened by the teacher. Maybe they tell you, like very big conversation in Spanish, like, teacher, how do you say in English? Ayer fui al supermercado con mi abuela y me compré un paquete de papas fritas enorme que estaban riquísimas. I mean, they want to be listened. They want to tell you a story about their life because they need to be like, you know, understood in certain moments. But you have to say, stop, 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 stop. Let's try in English. You know how to say abuela. You know how to say supermercado. You know how to say ayer. You know how to say papas fritas. You know how to say deliciosas. Yeah, teacher, but I don't know how to say comprar. All right, so tell me, how do you say in English comprar? And I'm going to help you out, right? And then you try in English with the rest of the sentences. Sometimes the teachers just move on and they don't help them to produce in English because that conversation was not relevant for the class. Okay, so it is not relevant. You just say, no, let's continue because this has nothing to do with the class. But it is not relevant, but it is necessary because it is in English. As long as they are producing a conversation in English, you have to accept it. And if you accept it, you help them out in order to produce that conversation in English. Okay, let's try. Try in English now. Yesterday, I went to the supermarket. How do you say comprar, teacher? Buy, for example, with my granny to buy potato chips. Perfect. Now let's move on because you tried in English and this is production. This is English language. So, right. There are like 3 cases in which you can use Spanish L1 in your classes. I'm going to tell you when. When you can use English in your classrooms. Spanish, sorry, not English, the L1, your students' language, I mean. So, use Spanish only to explain something important like the rules in the very beginning, in the very first class. So if you explain something in Spanish, then they cannot put the excuse and tell you later on that they didn't understand because you explained the rules in English at the beginning. For example, if you say you cannot come late to the class, when they are late, they cannot tell you, teacher, I didn't understand you when you said that, right? So for the rules, just the first day of classes, you can use Spanish language. Second, when something out of the ordinary happens in your class, for example, 2 students fighting or 1 student insulting the other. So you just take these students apart, you take them individually out of the class and you explain in Spanish what happened and what the consequences are, right? Not to get confused, to make everything clear. And finally, when you know in a conversation that a word, a particular word, is not going to be understood by your students, just one word, and you don't want to like stop the whole conversation just to explain it. So you just say it in Spanish. For example, yesterday I ate lentils for lunch. Lentils, I ate lentils for lunch. Lentejas, I ate lentils for lunch. So I just said the word once in Spanish and like 3 or 4 times in English. So for them to remember the word in English, not to remember the word in Spanish, right? I ate lentils for lunch. Lentils, lentejas, lentils. And then you can ask them, what did I eat yesterday for lunch? And they say lentils. Okay, let me write it down there on the board for them to remember better. Okay, this is the way, or these are the situations when you can talk in Spanish or use Spanish. But you would say, yeah, teacher, for you is easy. But how to avoid using Spanish in the classes if my level is not that much, or if the students never understand, never pay attention? You know what? I have seen teachers who translate every single word into Spanish. And this is a mistake because students are going to get used to listen just to the part when you speak in Spanish. They are going to switch the brains off when you're speaking in English because they know that after the English explanation, it comes the Spanish explanation. So they are going to focus just and pay attention just to the Spanish language. They are going to get lazy in order to listen to English, right? So no matter how, but don't translate everything. I mean, don't do it. There are 1,000 tips that you can use in your classes to avoid translating. And I'm going to tell you some of them. For example, keep it simple. Use simple vocabulary, short sentences to explain things. If you want the parents of a student to come to visit you because you need to maybe to talk to them about behavior, you just tell them, okay, it's necessary for me to speak with your daddy or mommy. It's necessary that your mommy come to have a conversation with them. But don't tell them like, when the class finishes at 5 o'clock, I need to speak with the parents because there is something that I need to tell them, or whatever it is, because it is impossible that they understand you. So use simple vocabulary and simple sentences. Use also body language. Walk, stand up, sit down, run, speak, right? Another thing, use pictures. With the example before that I gave you about the lentils, you can also show a picture of a dish of lentils for them to understand, okay? If you are this kind of teacher who is an artist, draw. In my case, I'm very bad at drawing, so I prefer to use pictures. And use English word roots, which come from Latin. What is that? You know that English language and Spanish language have the same root, or one of their roots. I mean, the origin of the language is Latin. So instead of using English words that maybe come from Anglo-Saxon or German language, use the Latin words. Like for example, instead of saying smart, you say intelligent. They're going to understand you better because it is similar to their words in Spanish. Instead of saying, for example, ask, question. Instead of saying, I don't know, rapport, that is a very trendy word for teachers now, say relationship. Instead of saying lift, say elevator. Instead of saying fridge, say refrigerator, okay? There are a lot of words that have synonyms that come from Latin languages. So use these kind of words in order to speak to your students, for them to understand you without using Spanish. And then you can also create their own English dictionary that I'm going to explain you how to do it later on. And the most important thing for them to use English 100% in the classes is to guide every activity. That you teachers guide every activity, that you start with the sample of every activity. And I'm going to tell you how as well later on. Another strategy that I use in my classes in order to make them speak English all the time is to say that I don't understand Spanish. They know that I do because they know the languages that I speak, but it is kind of a joke. And I say, sorry, I don't understand you. So imagine that my students don't know what a table is. So I would explain it. A table is a piece of furniture, normally made out of wood, where you sit at in order to maybe eat or write. You've got a lot of tables here or desks. You put chairs around. So I know that they really understood my explanation and they know what a table is. But there is this kind of student that always wants to say the words in Spanish and say, yeah, mesa, no teacher, mesa. And he's waiting for you to nod with your head affirming that it's mesa. But instead, what I do is to say, sorry, mesa? What is mesa in English? I don't understand Spanish. I don't understand what mesa is. I don't speak Spanish. Mi no entiende español. What is mesa? So I made them repeat the explanation. What is mesa? Can you describe it? Can you define it? So there is a student says, mesa is a place where you eat and normally made out of wood. And I say, oh yeah, a table. They understand, I mean, they know that I understand, but as I am pretending that I don't, it's kind of fun, you know, and then they make the effort to speak in English. Before I told you to create your own English dictionary, or that the students create their own English dictionary. And this is the way it is. Normally, I tell them to buy this kind of agenda or telephone list book that has like the alphabet on the right-hand side, right? If they don't have money to buy it or they don't want, they can create it with a normal notebook. If you are teaching online, you can create it with a Word document or Excel. Right, the thing is that they have this agenda with the alphabet on a side, and imagine that today it appears a new word that is neighbor, right? And most of them don't know. Maybe some of them know, but most of them don't know. So, okay, neighbor. I tell them to open the agenda, go to letter N, and write the word neighbor. As neighbor has two kinds of spelling, one is British, another one is American, I tell them to write both. And then also between bars, I tell them to write the pronunciation, neighbor. And if some of them know what a neighbor is, I ask the ones who know about the word, okay, what is a neighbor? Is it a person? Is it an animal? Is it a toy? Is it food? And somebody says a person, teacher. Okay, a person. What else? A person who lives near. If they don't know, if nobody in the class knows, I would explain it with simple words and vocabulary. But if some of them know, I'm gonna ask questions for them to tell me. Very good. It's a person who lives near your house or next door. Then I would ask them about examples to personalize the learning process. I would ask them, for example, Carlos, do you have neighbors? Yes, teacher. Tell me the name of one of your neighbors. Mary. Good. Is Mary a good neighbor or a bad neighbor? Oh, she's good, but sometimes she starts cleaning the house on Sundays with a vacuum cleaner and she's kind of noisy. Very good. So the example, my neighbor Mary is a little noisy on Sundays. Another person, Sandra, do you have a neighbor? Yes, teacher. Tell me the name of one of your neighbors. Juan. Does Juan have a car? Yes, teacher. What color is Juan's car? Blue. Okay, example. My neighbor Juan has a blue car. So everybody can personalize their own examples. Also, if you are working from home, either if you are working from home or you're working in a classroom setting, you can tell them to look for pictures on the internet and copy and paste a picture example that I call them. So, for example, like this one that we have here. I hate my neighbor, we have a very bad relationship. Or I don't know, the neighbor in the house, in the pink house is shouting at the neighbor in the yellow house. Something that makes them remember what a neighbor is. And as I like to guide the activities and to personalize the activity, I would also bring my own example. So I went there to Google Earth, and I found a picture of my neighborhood. It's quite an old picture, but it works. And I would say that I live here, right? That my neighbor next door is called Frank, and now is ill, and he has a dog. And then I have another neighbor on the right who is a woman. She's Italian, and she never comes, only on holidays or vacation. And then I have a British neighbor nearby who is a very good person. I mean, you can give your own example, right? Good. Imagine that after a few days, that your neighbor reappear and they don't remember. Or I give them, for example, the definition, or I ask directly what a neighbor is. We don't remember, teacher. Okay, go to our agenda, read the definition, and mark it with an asterisk because you didn't remember. Or if I read the definition, I would say, for example, it is a person who lives near your house. It starts with N. What is that? We don't remember, teacher. Remember this example? My blah, blah, Mary's a little noisy on Sunday. We don't remember, teacher. Okay, make another asterisk. So when they get 3 asterisks, I'm gonna send them to do something related to neighbor, like a homework for them to never forget about it. And I promise they never forget about it. It is not very hard homework, but it is a homework that is very effective. This would be the homework, for example. Go to Google Earth, find the place where you live, and locate your house and take a screenshot. Send an audio clip to the teacher talking about one of your neighbors, the name, the age, or something. I mean, if they don't know the name, something about the car of the neighbor. My neighbor has a blue car, whatever. Give your opinion about living among neighbors and whether you prefer to live surrounded by neighbors or in a rural area with no one nearby. And then answer these questions. How many neighbors do you have? Do you get along well with your neighbors? Who is the best neighbor? Do you usually ask your neighbor for things you need, like salt, for example? So do you think that they're gonna forget with these exercises, with all the personalized exercises and examples? I don't think so. If they do this homework, they are not going to forget, right? And talking about personalization, I'm gonna give you an advice. That is, this piece of advice is very effective. Whenever you want to do activities for making your students speak in English, try to use normal objects like routinely or daily objects that they are like common for them. And I'm gonna give you an example. Look at this picture. They are a pair of shoes. And you know that shoes tell a story. All the shoes tell stories, right? And you're going to tell me the story behind these shoes, right? What can you tell me about these shoes? Who do they belong to? What can you tell me about their owner? So if you're my students, you would say things like, these shoes are like really damaged, maybe used a lot. They belong to a dancer, to a woman probably. And I think that the owner is a very hardworking person who loved these shoes a lot because they are used, right? So tell me something about the shoes. And then to personalize this activity even more, now it's your turn. So use the comment section over there. Look at your shoes, the ones that you are wearing today, and tell me the story about your shoes, right? Again, I'm going to repeat the activity. Look at your shoes, the ones that you are wearing in this moment, and tell me the story behind your shoes. So you can answer some of these questions. This is just a guide. You don't have to answer everything, but just like a guide. Where did you buy them? How much were they, if you remember? Who were you with when you bought them? How long have you had them? When do you use or wear them? Are they comfortable? What is the brand, if they have any? What is your shoe size? What kinds of shoes are they? Describe them, the color, kind, if they have laces, etc. And I'm gonna I'm gonna take my shoe off. This is my shoe. Do you see it? As I told you that it's very important to guide the activities, I'm gonna start guiding the activity. I'm gonna start with the sample. So this is my shoe, the one that I'm wearing in this moment. I bought them like 3 or 4 years ago in a shopping center. I think that it was about 20 euros or 15 euros. That is not expensive here in Spain. I wear them when I go out, when I walk, for everything, because they are really comfy. They are very comfortable shoes. My shoe size is 38. They are flat shoes because they don't have high heels, and they are red. Now, tell me about your shoes. Let me see if I can read some comments about your shoes. Oh, ballet dancer, yeah, you are talking about the previous ones, right? So it is a way to talk about normal things, daily objects, routinely things, right? Things that you have every day, that you use every day, and it is very important because the students are going to focus their attention to the object itself instead of focusing the attention on grammar structure or things like that that maybe made them maybe be shy or not to produce very well or not to be so fluent, right? Okay, we continue. Another activity that you can do related to this activity about shoes is a drawing dictation. If you go to the internet, you can type weird shoes and there will appear 1,000 shoes, or weird t-shirts or weird bottles or whatever object you are using. There are a lot of weird things on the internet. So I would go to the internet and type weird shoes. And I'm gonna do a drawing dictation. So I would call a student to the front of the class. I would show this picture of a drawing shoe to that student, and they have to explain the shoe to the other students. So the rest of the class has to draw it. So the drawing that is more similar to the original shoe is going to be the winner. So this is the activity. As I told you, weird shoes. The teacher will show students a picture of a weird shoe and they must describe it to his or her partner in detail. Students who are listening to the description must draw the shoe without seeing it. The student who draws the shoe, which looks more like the real one in the picture, will be the winner. So this is the first shoe that I found that is really funny as well. I would describe it like it is kind of a high heel with a platform at the front part, and the front part is kind of a fish tank. So the platform is like a fish tank with a fish inside, but instead of water, the fish tank has beer. And the high heel at back part has a bottle of beer too, upside down. So students have to draw it. Another weird one. It is kind of a high heel too, but it is like slides in a playground. So the high heel is the ladder of the slide, and the shoe is the slide itself. You can mimic as well. These ones are really comfy shoes. They are really comfortable and warm. They are kind of slippers made out of bread. Okay, and then you've got more. You see more weird shoes to describe, like this one with a soil like a fish. They are flip-flops, etc. Right? Lot of shoes to describe and then to draw. It's a really fun activity to do in class that make them speak all the time. And finally, I'm gonna show you my favorite shoes that I love them. These are my favorite shoes. They were painted by a friend of mine, and they are really personalized, like the classes, because they have a picture of me on one of the shoes and then the British and American flag on them. So I really love them. And now my question is, what are your favorite shoes when you use them? Tell me when you use them. Tell me how they are. Tell me if they are comfortable. So what are your favorite shoes? Did you like this activity? Yes. So my question is, what kind of activity is it? Do you know it? Come on. Use the comment section over there to tell me what activity is this one that we have seen before. So let's see. What kinds of activity was this? Good strategies. Thank you, Debbie. Nice. Your favorite shoes, Maria Elena. Good. You can create stories using different things. Evelyn, thank you very much. It is a speaking activity. Thank you. Mainlin, where did you get these pictures? On the internet? Very comfortable. Good. This activity is a speaking activity, of course, because everything is focused more on speaking, but it is what we call, teachers call, warm-ups or icebreakers that for me are essential. Good. And my question is, do you use warm-ups or icebreakers in your classes? Why or why not? Are icebreakers important? Do you use them? So I want to see your response. I want to see your answers. Do you use warm-ups in your classes? Let's see. Let's see. Hello from Ecuador, Debbie. Descriptions, excellent strategies. Thank you, very good. Thank you very much, Nancy. Very good, Veronica. Motivating, critical thinking. Do you use warm-ups or icebreakers there in your classes? Yes? No? Tell me something. Maylin says that warm-up is so essential at the class. Carolina says that yes, they are very important. Evelyn says warm-up helps to introduce the topic and motivate students. Very good. Yeah, warm-ups are essential for everybody. You can introduce a topic like, for example, clothing or shopping, but by using this warm-up about shoes. But also just introduce a class, no matter what the topic is going to be later on. It's just to connect with the students from the very beginning, because the students have had a great time together. They have had fun. They have laughed. They have spoken. So it's English. So let's start the class with a warm-up to connect with them. Imagine that our class is a flight, right? A plane flight, a journey. So warm-ups are like taking off. They are necessary. And it is a way to prepare you for the class itself, for the flight itself. So if it is a flight, there in every lesson, we've got a pilot. Who's the pilot? The pilot is the teacher. We've got passengers. Who are the passengers? Students. We've got, we have to take off. So it is the moment when we use or we do an activity like that one we have just used. That is a warm-up. So warm-up is the moment when we take off. Then we have to fly the plane, of course. That is the class itself, when we have to deal with the grammar book, we have to deal with the contents, we have to deal with the topic itself. And finally, we have to land the plane. And landing is another important part in your lessons. So you have to make sure, teacher, that when you land the plane, it is like the student has to take something home. They have to take maybe a lesson learned. They have to take maybe a positive feedback, a word that they learned that day, a feeling, an emotion, like that they connected a lot with the teacher, that they loved that lesson, the experience. But you have to give your students something to take home. You have to land the plane knowing that your students have to take something home that day. This is really important. I call them warm downs. You've got a warm up, then you've got a class, and then you have a warm down. That is a message that you leave them or something that they learned, positive feedback or whatever, right? We're going to continue dealing with warm-ups and icebreakers. Here I have another warm-up that is about also, again, common things. Everybody has hands and everybody has feet. So this activity is called hands and feet. And again, hands and feet tell you stories. So the activity is that, sorry, you describe a picture and the other student maybe has to guess what picture you are talking about. So I would say, for example, okay, this picture that I'm going to describe has two hands in it. These hands belong to maybe a man. These hands are very dirty and full of oil. But I think that the person, these hands belong to a person who is a very hardworking person and maybe a mechanic because he's holding a wrench. You know what picture is it? Yes, of course, number 3, right? Then I would say, for example, these hands belong to a woman, a lady, maybe a young woman. I think that she's blind because she's touching a very famous painting that is the Mona Lisa just to feel how it is. Good, you know? The second one. I can describe also a picture about feet. Okay, these feet belong to a woman too that is very tired. Maybe she's an athlete and she's giving herself a massage because she's very tired maybe of running. You know what picture is it? So very simple because the students can use their own language to describe pictures and they are normal things. You go to the internet and you look for hands and feet for people and then you cut the hands and the feet and put them to talk, make them talk. More warm-ups. Apart from hands and feet, another thing that you can do, another warm-up is called labels and tags. Everybody in your classroom, either if it is online or in a classroom setting, has labels on their clothes, maybe on the pencil case, on the school bag. You've got labels everywhere. So what you're going to do, this is for basic or for any kinds of level, what you're going to do is ask your students to look at their t-shirts, look at the labels there, and check where the t-shirt was made. Can be used for teaching, for example, passive voice, because you are going to say where the t-shirt was made. The t-shirt was made in China, for example, or just to deal with nationalities. So for very basic levels, it works. For example, my t-shirt here that I checked before, my t-shirt was made in France. So now you are going to give me some piece of information of the country where the t-shirt was made in. You can talk about the capital city. You can talk about a typical food there, something famous, a famous person, nationality, language, whatever. So if my t-shirt was made in France, I can give you just a piece of information, like for example, the capital city of France is Paris. Another student, okay, tell me something else about France. The typical food in France is croissant. Another one, something famous in France is, for example, the Eiffel Tower. Another one, a famous person in France is Zinedine Zidane, who is the coach of Real Madrid. The nationality is French and the language is French too. So you are making your students talk and they're just paying attention to a normal thing, a routinely thing, personal belonging, or a common object like a t-shirt. Another one, everybody in your class, either online or face-to-face, everybody has a handbag, a purse, or a school bag. So you're going to tell them to pick up an object from inside their school bag or their handbags and tell you what these objects are used for. For example, I pick up from my bag my mobile phone, right? My mobile phone is used to call people. Or if you can say as well, my mobile phone is used for calling people. So if you use for, you have to put the next verb with ing ending, right? Or my keys are used to open my door. My keys are used for opening my door, right? The scissors are used to cut papers. The scissors are used for cutting papers. You see, normal objects. Another warm-up that I love, but this is one that you have to do in a classroom setting. I'm gonna give you another version to do it online. It's called snowball fight. Maybe you know this warm-up because it's super popular. It is not something that I invented. And it is that you have to give every student a sheet of paper, a blank paper, and everyone has to write a question on the paper, right? In order not to have many repetitive questions, you are going to guide the activity. I'm going to say, you four are going to write questions about like personal questions, like how old are you, where are you from, what's your surname, what's your telephone number. You four are going to write questions about favorites. What's your favorite restaurant? What's your favorite food? What's your favorite TV series or whatever? You four are going to write questions about the past. What did you do yesterday? What did you eat for lunch? Where do you go to school when you were 10 years old? You four are going to write questions about the future. What would you like to be when you grow up? What countries would you like to visit in the future? Whatever. You four are going to write questions about your family members. How many siblings or brothers and sisters do you have? What is your parents' occupations? What's your mother name? Etc. Right? Then, when everybody has finished their question, they are going to make a ball, right, with the paper. And when I say 1, 2, 3, everybody is going to hit each other with the balls till I say stop. When it says stop, everybody is to pick up a paper, open the paper, and ask someone the question, and that person has to respond it. Do you like it? It's really fun. So do it if you haven't done it, because it's really fun. Another version of this to do online is, instead of with worksheets, you do it with toilet paper. You tell the students, do you have toilet paper at home? Do you use it every day? Everybody is going to say yes, right? Everybody has toilet paper at home. So right, go to the toilet and pick up a roll of toilet paper. And now you are going to cut with your hands, you're going to take the amount of paper, the amount of toilet paper that you normally use when you go to the toilet. So if they, for example, take a very big amount, you would say, oh my God, you have to, you have to save paper. If they maybe take like little amount, you would say, be careful, you can poop your hands, so you can make fun of it. And then you ask them to write a question in each square. So if they have 4 squares, they have to write 4 questions. If they have 10, they have to write 10 questions. Then they pick up the question, right? And they ask the questions to someone else there in the class. Do you like it? Yes? Can you do it with every kind of student, every kind of level? Yes, of course, because it's a speaking activity, sorry. Now, we're going to move on. As I told you before, you have to guide every kind of activity. And a good way to guide every kind of activity is by personalizing the activities. So imagine that it is your first class with a true beginner group. I mean, they are beginners, they are basic levels, and you have to teach the so well-known verb to be. Many teachers are going to write there on the board, I'm going to put I am, you are, he is, she is. I'm not going to do that, okay? This is just grammar. I'm going to teach it in a different way. What is the way I want to teach this verb to be? I'm going to bring pictures. Or if we are teaching an online class, you can tell them to go with you through Facebook, to go to your Facebook profile, right? If not, you bring the pictures either physically or they're on your mobile phone. And you tell your students also, you ask them to bring their pictures too, on the mobile phone or physically. Bring pictures of your friends, of your parents, of some family celebrations, of your favorite artist. Bring a lot of pictures to the class, right? And I would maybe write on the board this information that I have over here, like name, name, age, occupation, marital status, nationality, and extra information. And as I am a guide, as I have to start with my sample, I will describe my pictures. I would say, okay, let's describe that first picture. In the first picture, I am with my two best friends. They are girls. On the left-hand side, my best friend Gara. On the right-hand side, my best friend Sonia. Okay, Gara is a girl, she's a woman, so I say she is, right? She is. So let me give you information about Gara. She is Gara. She is 41 years old. She is an English teacher like me. She is married and she is Spanish. She is, right? Because she is a girl. Now Sonia on the right-hand side. Sonia is a girl too. She's a woman. So she is Sonia. She is 42 years old. She is married and she is Spanish too. And she's an English teacher like me too. Here, the little baby that I'm holding is my little baby boy. He's a boy, so I would say he is. He is Keenan and he is 1 year old. Okay, at the bottom, I am with my best boyfriend. Okay, he's my best friend and he's a boy. So I have to say what I have to say. He is very good. He's Hector. He's 30 years old. He's a waiter. He's single and he's Uruguayan, but he has been living in Spain for more than 20 years. In the middle, I am with my mommy. My mommy, is she a woman or a boy or a man? She's a woman, very good. So she is. She is married. She is 63 years old. She's a farmer. She's married and she's Spanish. Good. There on the right-hand side, we've got a picture of my mommy and my father and my daddy. I'm gonna talk to you about my father. He's Bena, he's 65, he's a businessman, he's married and he's Spanish. He is, right? And there at the bottom, I have a picture with my two siblings, my brother, Stephen, and my sister, Tony, okay? My brother is a boy, so he is Stephen, he is 30 years old, he's a waiter, he's married, he's Spanish. And my sister, Donnie, she is 33 years old, she's a businesswoman, she is married, and she is Spanish too. Then you can practice apart from he is and she is, like we, for example, asking the student, what we, my friends and me, have in common. For example, this picture, the first picture that I showed you before. We are, right? We are women. We are teachers. We are Spanish. Okay, my friend Hector and me, what we have in common. We are super attractive and we are friends. My mommy and me, what we have in common. We are women, we are Spanish, and we are very beautiful women. My siblings and me, we are Spanish, we are good people. And now let's practice the they. My mother and my daddy, what they have in common is that they are married and they are Spanish, for example. I have guided the activities. I have given them the example. Now it's your turn, students. Bring your pictures. Let's describe your sister, your brother, your mommy, okay? Right, very good. Do you like it? Is it easy? So that's just to make them speak in English 100%, because we are not leaving empty spaces for them to start thinking of other things or start maybe talking Spanish about other things. Another good way to connect with your students is by means of using videos, but do not use any video. Do not made for students of English. Personalize the video. Video tutorials are really good. For example, when you have something to explain to your students, something about pronunciation, because in the class you are wearing the face masks, you can make a video tutorial and explain them how to pronounce a word, right? And then they can respond to that video tutorial by means of another video. Engage students, use things that they are interested in, right? Connect students to the video. Expose your students to real material, real videos. For example, the BBC or British Council have a lot of videos there on the street interviewing people who maybe are immigrants or also native speakers as well, but they make a lot of mistakes, although they have been living maybe in England for 20 years, but it is the natural process of learning a language. I am not a native speaker, and I always tell my students, look, I'm not a native speaker. I can put myself on your shoes. And you know what? If you study English, you can get my same accent. You can get to speak English like I do, because I learned English like you are learning English now, okay? Studying. And with the passing of time, you are gonna get a good accent, all right? So use real material. Wake up their interest by doing previewing activities. For example, if you are gonna see a video about Africa, ask them, okay, you know Africa, what things do you know about Africa? Connect them to the video and use motivational videos. Videos that let their feelings go out. Videos that touch their heart. Videos either to cry or to laugh, but motivational videos. Let me show you some examples of some videos that you can use in your classes. But first of all, as I told you that we have to connect the videos to the students, and you've got to engage them with the videos. I'm going to ask you a question, right? And the question is, do you like lemons? How do you like them? Do you like maybe, do you like lemons like a fruit, or in maybe in lemon juice, or as a condiment? Do you like them? And how do you like them? So I'm going to see some answers. Yes, many of you like lemons, although they are sour. Right. So we are going to see a video that is really popular. You have seen this video thousands of times or something similar. That is, this video is about some babies eating lemons. Some of them are going to like them and some of them are going to hate them. So the thing that you are going to do is to predict if they like or don't like, and you are going to use third person S. So you're going to tell me, for example, the first baby. I think the first baby likes lemons. I think the second baby doesn't like lemons. This baby or this girl likes them. This baby doesn't like lemons. It's an easy way to introduce your students to the third person singular by watching a funny video. So just look at the video. Give me 1 second. Kind of slow now. This is a live event, so these kind of things usually happen. Let me reboot the video. Sorry. Now it's gonna start. Okay. So the first one, what do you think? Tell me, do you think that he likes lemons? Do you think that he doesn't like lemons? What do you think? So let's see it. Yeah, he likes Hello? Can you listen to me? Do you hear me? Okay. I think that the connection is like giving some failures. Okay, you are listening to me now. So let me continue with the webinar. Let me share the screen again. So here we've got the video that I told you before, right? It's a video about lemons, and you have to predict if the babies like lemons or they don't like lemons using third person singular. So he likes lemons, he doesn't like lemons, or I think he likes lemons, I think he doesn't like lemons. In this case, he doesn't like lemons, and it was very funny. We continue. No, thanks. Okay, the third baby. Let's see. What do you think? What do you think? What do you think is going to happen with this baby? Does she like lemons? Let's see. Oh God, she loves lemons. So right, very good. This is a video, as I told you before, which is very funny, okay? And that you can use it for them to practice third person singular. They're going to have fun. They're not going to pay attention to the video itself, but just to pay attention to producing things in English, because they are having a great moment. They are having fun, right? So let's continue. We're going to see another video. But before, as I told you, I have to prepare you for the video. I'm going to ask you, I'm going to beg you, please watch this video attentively. Watch this video with all your heart, because it's a very emotional video. So pay attention to this video. Don't write, don't type on the chat, don't look at your WhatsApps, don't do anything, just pay attention to this video. First of all, I'm going to ask you, do you like dancing? What does it mean for you? Keep on going. What is that for you? Keep on going is like that you have to fight for your dreams, that you cannot give up no matter how you are and how much it costs for you to get what you have. But never give up. Keep on going. That is the meaning of that I suppose that you know it. But let's see this video, which is really emotional. Watch the video attentively, right? And get ready to either laugh or cry. We don't know. Let's see. To play, please. Let me play the video again, because some of you told me that you went You cannot see the video? Can you see the video? Let's try again then. Wait a second, please. Yeah, we are having some connection problems. Let's see. So, do you like the video? It is a very moving video, right? It's a video that touches your heart. It's a video that tells you not to give up, no matter the circumstances. It's a video that tells you that there are people who are worse than us. There are people who maybe have more difficulties in life, right? When I saw this video, I remember a teacher who was going through some difficulties this month. That is teacher Julie, so a kiss teacher from here, because it's difficult to have the difficulties that you were living in these days. Right, so try to use videos like this one. They are moving videos, but no matter if they are sad, I mean, you have to be ready, you have to be prepared either to laugh in your classroom or even to cry, and nothing happens. No problem. You can cry and you can laugh at the same time with this kind of videos. Yeah, right. Let's continue. We're gonna see another video. Let's share my screen again with you. Let me see if this works. Right, good, here it is. So this is a worksheet that you can use for this video with your students. I would do it orally, but you can do it in a written form if you want it. So what is the girl doing? Like dancing. How does she feel? Very sad because she doesn't have a leg and she believes that she cannot dance. How does she go to school? By car. What color is her car? If they don't remember, if the students don't remember, you can play the video again. What color is her car? What does she do at the recess? She just sits alone. What is she wearing? What activity does she love doing? What present does she receive from her mother? What happens at the end? And do you like dancing? If you have like preschoolers, you can do an activity similar to this one. That is like with pictures, just orally for them to circle. I am a girl or boy. I feel sad or happy. Okay, my routine every day is I go to school by a red car. I'm wearing at the recess. I sit alone. I love dancing. My mother gives me a dress. And finally, I am happy because I can dance. And then what can you do and what can't you do? So I can play the piano or I can't fly, for example. Do you like this video? Good. So now, another question for you. Are robots going to substitute people in the future? What do you think? And what about teachers? Are robots going to replace teachers in the future? Good. So before answering these questions, we are going to see another video. The same. There are 3 minutes video. Watch attentively to it because it is really moving as well. So let's see it. well till there. Really, really, really touching, really moving it was. Yeah, we have to get ready either to cry, we have to get ready as well to laugh in your classes. We are teachers. We have to let our emotions go out, and we have to reach our students' emotions as well. Let's go to the worksheet that I would do with these students about the video. Is a woman old or young? What color is the telephone in the house? If they don't remember, you can play the video again, or this particular part. What toy does the grandmother receive? What is the granny wearing? Is the robot a good pet? Is the grandmother happy with the robot? Etc., etc., right? And let's continue with the videos, but this time we are gonna forget the sad videos, and we are gonna start with something more fun for you and more motivational. Some motivational videos that you can use in your classes in order to engage students are commercials, ads. Advertisements are really good because they are really short, and most of the students know about the commercials, the spots that they see there on the television, right? So I have prepared like a handout that is common to all kinds of commercials, just to make students speak. Like, what is a commercial trying to sell? Where does the commercial take place? Who are the main characters? Do we hear people speaking? If so, what are they speaking about? If you don't hear people speaking, why not? Does the commercial tells you story? What is it? Is music used? Is it effective? What age group is this commercial intended for? Does the commercial focus our attention on the product? Is the commercial too long, too short, or right? Okay, so let's see a commercial. Remember that they are really short, just 20 or 30 seconds, so they are very easy to see. Let's see. First of all, as I have to give you some kind of information about the commercial that we're going to see, I want to ask you if you know this logo, if you know what kinds of company Specsavers is. Do you know it? Well, if you don't know it, I'm going to tell you. Specsavers is a company of glasses. So it is like an optician where you can buy glasses, contact lenses, etc. So let's see the video, concentrate on the video, watch it attentively because it's really good. Let's see. Not to lose any detail. Did you like it? Really funny, isn't it? Okay, so this video, tell me if this video tells you a story. Of course, it is a story about an old man who pretends to go to a sauna or a spa, and instead he gets into the kitchen of a restaurant, right? And then he gets confused because everything is full of smoke and steam, but when the smoke disappears, he realizes that he's in the kitchen. And the protagonist is this kind of, a very popular and famous chef who is Gordon Ramsay. So you can tell the story, you can speak about the effects, if there's people speaking or not, if they use music or not. We are going to continue. We are just getting to the end, so don't worry. This is the last video that we are going to see. And this logo, of course, you know it. I'm not going to ask you about it because it is Coca-Cola, so popular for everybody. But pay attention to the video because the video has like two stories, right? So one on the left and another one on the right. So look at the video attentively and pay attention to the two stories that you are going to watch. Let me play it again, not to lose any detail. It says, based on hundreds of stories, right? Let's see it. Move more, eat well, take it easy. This video, we can compare it with the situation we are living in. What situation is it? Is that everything has changed. I mean, on this video, you can see that in the past, people ate more healthy food. They did more exercise. They enjoyed the life like quiet and slowly. But now in the future, on the times we are living in, our lives are so stressing. We eat very quickly, junk food, etc., etc. So if we compare this with the times we're living in, these times of pandemic, in which everything has changed, it is not that it is better or worse. It is that we have to adapt to a new situation, right? We have to live a new situation. We have to get accustomed to this new situation, but we have to enjoy life anyways. The same with our students. We have to teach online, but we have to enjoy our classes, although we don't like it, right? And just to finish, because we are arriving to our destination, remember that this was a flight. So passengers, you can get your seatbelts unfastened. You can unfasten your seatbelts because we are going to land. And as I told you before, when landing, I have to leave you something to take home. I have to give you a message or a lesson learned or words that you learned or an experience or a good feedback from your teacher. So today I'm going to give you a message. And this message is that teachers or English teachers are like the Coca-Cola. So we are quite similar, and I'm going to tell you why. It says English teachers like Coca-Cola have fans all over the world. You can see this group. We are more than 12,000 members. So everybody likes English teachers. Number two, everyone has had at least one in their life. Yeah, everybody has tried the Coca-Cola and everybody has had at least one English teacher in their life. Next one, our formula is the secret. Every teacher has their own style of teaching. You don't have to change that style. What you have to do is just to adapt your style to the new circumstances, right? Next one, we are so sweet, especially with our students. We are so sweet. And finally, we are always cool. So, thank you very much. My name is Nefty Fortes, as you know. Here you've got my email address and my website address as well. So we have arrived to our destination. Thank you for this comfortable trip. If you need anything, further questions, or anything you need, the slides, or some questions that you want to ask me, please send me an email and I'm gonna be more than glad to answer to your questions. Thank you very much. Thank you. So now is gonna be our question time. And you,
thank you so much, Ms. Nefty, for this outstanding presentation. Thank you very much. We already have a few questions. Mr. Kurt Vilela, can you read the questions for Ms. Nefty Fortes, please?
Yes, why not? I also want to thank Ms. Nefty once again for having sacrificed her time to share with us her knowledge.
Thank you, Mr. J.
The comments speak for themselves because we can see that they show gratitude and happiness. But I also want to ask you some things. For example, Maria Elena Rixe Padilla asks, How about feedback in distance education?
Feedback, I think that is crucial. We teachers sometimes have to pay more attention to a positive feedback than even to the exam results. I mean, not everybody is going to work at the same time, at the same rhythm. So it is really important to give our students positive feedback. We have to keep into account that every achievement counts for them. So now that we are working online, to give feedback is kind of difficult. Not everybody connects. Not everybody maybe sends you the homework. Not everybody, I mean, you probably do not have all the things that you would like to from all kinds of students. But these little things that you receive, it's really important that you give them feedback, that you tell them, okay, you can. You don't have good connection, like today we have kind of problems with the connection. Let's look for other strategies, okay? Use WhatsApp whenever you can connect to it. Send pictures. I'm gonna give you time, 10 days to complete a task. It's not something that I need for today, but just encourage them to do it because it's hard for us, but it is even harder for them as well.
Okay, we have another from Betty Sassin. She asked, what about in virtual learning if you only send activities through the school blog?
Listening activities.
No.
Can you repeat the question, please?
She says that she only sends the activities through the school blog. So what can she do in that case?
All right. She means that, for example, they do not have the opportunity to practice speaking because everything that they send is through the school blogs. All right. Sometimes we have to work with things that we don't like to. Sometimes we can ask them to do extra things out of the blog. But if you don't have more things, you have to like be happy with the things that they send to you, right? I encourage them to speak is really important because at the end, the things that you're going to learn about language is speaking. I mean, most of the people are not going to write letters in the future. Most of the people are going to need to speak the language when they grow up, when they get a job, when they speak to people on the streets. We are not going to write letters. I mean, some of them maybe go to university, some of them maybe get a graduation related to English language, but we have to be honest, most of them need to speak English. So apart from the, as you said, the platform that they use for the school where they just send written exercises, we can encourage them to use WhatsApp. Just audio clips. From now and then, I mean, not every day, but let's send an audio once a week, once every 15 days. I mean, encourage them to use other kinds of platforms and tools in order to communicate in English, to use speaking language.
Thank you. We have another from Beatriz Flores. If I have a large class, how can I make my teaching activities understandable for all of them?
It is difficult. I have to be sincere. I have to be honest about it. It is not the same to work maybe in a private school where you've got just 12 students that to work in a school with 20, 30, even 40 students. Now that the schools are going to be reopened and that students are not able to touch each other, you are not going to be able to do cooperative activities, to put the students to work in groups. It's going to be even harder. So how can we encourage speaking activities in large groups in this new situation? I think that it's good to substitute the old exercises with the new interactive ones. But it is very important not to go back to the education model of the 70s, where everybody was separated and nobody spoke the language and you just like a teacher in front just speaking. No, let's do cooperative activities. If you have the opportunity to let your students bring the mobile phones, that they can send audios as well there in the classroom, that they can go around maybe to a corridor in order to record a video, do it, right? Because it's difficult, as the teacher said, to deal with a big class and to encourage students to speak, right? And now that you cannot form groups is even harder, but do it with technology. Maybe make them record videos from home, right? And bring it the other day, bring photographs and do it individually. First, you are going to work with 10 people and then you are going to work with other 10, right? That's going to be a good idea as well.
I guess now that you mentioned in your last answer about using WhatsApp, I guess you can use WhatsApp through smaller the class. You can make it smaller, maybe forming different groups.
Exactly. Even Zoom, the free version, because it lasts like 40 minutes, you can make like through WhatsApp, through the mobile phones, you can make like different rooms through Zoom in order for them to chat and that they don't have to get near in order to speak English yet.
Mickey Vargas wants to ask how can he engage students through WhatsApp?
So there are a lot of alternatives. First of all, students love technology. They love to have a mobile phone, even when they are kids. This is the first present that they ask for on Christmas. They want a mobile phone. So this is something that we don't have to struggle with. They love mobile phones. Now let's see this app. Maybe they don't use it. Let's try in class. There are a lot of things that you can do with WhatsApp, but it is not just text. So audio clips. Normally, what I do is like to open an empty group. I put all the activities that I want to do there, just for me to get access easily and to send the information to the students. I use WhatsApp to record videos, audio clips. I don't allow my students to write in certain occasions, just to speak, for them to practice pronunciation and speaking. And it is not necessary that you send them like difficult tasks. Just like keep a journal there. What do you do every day? What do you do today? What do you do in the morning? What do you have for lunch, right? Little tasks for them to speak, and especially not to be shy at the beginning. So little things that they can do that they are not difficult for them, help them out in order to speak with more confidence.
Ok, muchas gracias. Mientras estás respondiendo todas estas preguntas, el resto de los comentarios son de gratitud, de gratitud, de gratitud. Muchas gracias.
Thank you very much. Gracias a todos. Thank
There
you.
is one last question that
Right.
It says from Susana Romualdo Castro. Which strategy can we use to motivate learning English for teens if we have only 1 hour per class in a week?
1 hour a week, that is not enough, but we have to look for their interests. The first thing that I would do in my first class would be, if you don't want them to speak from the very beginning, but you want them maybe to feel comfortable and confident, I would pass a worksheet and I would say, okay, write there your favorite song in English, if they like music, your favorite video game, your favorite restaurant, your favorite class activity, and all kinds of favorites that pass over there in your mind. And then having these interests that they have, if they like football, if they prefer basketball, if they like this kind of music, reggaeton or whatever, you're gonna design the activities according to them. You're gonna personalize these activities. As the example that I gave you before, I bring pictures of my family in order to introduce verb to be. So instead, I can ask them to bring pictures of their favorite artists. Or I would bring them, because if I ask them who their favorite artists are, I have information. I mean, if there is a person who likes Rihanna, I'm going to bring a photo from Rihanna. If there is another one who likes maybe, I don't know, Bruno Mars, I'm going to bring a picture of Bruno Mars. So I try to capture like their attention by using the things that they like. Even video games, I hate video games, and I know a lot about video games because my teenagers like them. So use a series. Something that I do, for example, is something that I call songversation. It's like a screenshot of a video clip of a song, and students have to interact with the video while playing the music. For example, Adele, hello, and you answer, hello, Adele, how are you? It's me, oh yeah, Adele, many years without knowing about you. Things like that, that I prepare, for example, a conversation with a dialogue from a series that they like, from a song that they like, from a YouTuber that they like.
Thank you, Miss Nefty. Once again, we are very grateful for your knowledge, for your time. Usted ha sido un pilar fundamental en el grupo, en la comunidad de English Teachers in Perú desde el inicio, y le estamos completamente agradecidos.
Thanks. Thank you, because you guys have supported me all this time. You support a lot of teachers who need materials, who don't have resources. I mean, it is a great word that is behind this group. It is tough. It consumes a lot of hours, but I promise it is worth it. I mean, it is an honor to belong to such a wonderful group. Thank you very much.
Sí. Bien, queremos invitarlos para los siguientes webinars que van a llevarse a cabo el próximo fin de semana. Eso quiere decir que nos vamos a estar encontrando el próximo viernes 28 de agosto de 6 a 7:45. Tenemos la presencia de Alicia Isabel Lara Espinosa, una entrenadora certificada de Cambridge, la cual nos va a presentar el webinar que lleva como título Making the Most of COVID-19 Times and the Importance of Continued Professional Development. Y al día siguiente tenemos también la participación del CEO Yako Higashi con su tema El ADN del Maestro. Te invito a que veas el siguiente video sobre Alicia Lara Espinosa y estés pendiente del exit ticket que va a ser publicado después del video.
I'm sorry. Ya. Ahora sí lo tenemos. Los problemas con la página. So sorry, yeah. Now you can watch the video. Pay attention, please. It will be a great webinar.
Hi everyone, my name is Alicia Lara and I'm the director of Basis Languages and Training. I know we are experiencing harsh times, but I also know there are extraordinary people out there who are trying to make the most of these difficult times. In this opportunity, and thanks to the amazing human team at English Teachers in Peru, I will be offering a webinar next Friday, August the 28th, And in this webinar, we'll be able to talk about the importance of our role as teachers in this context of having to teach to our students online. We'll also talk about the importance of certifying our English level by taking international examinations. Want to know more about these two interesting topics? Join us next Friday, August the 28th. See you there.
Bien, es importante que sigas sumando tu participación en estos webinars y te invitamos cordialmente y con mucha buena vibra a que formes parte del webinar de la siguiente semana. El exit ticket ya está siendo publicado. Siempre hay algo común en los exit tickets, que es el https bit.ly. Eso siempre es común. Después del siguiente slash viene el código, que es 3 G minúscula K U 2 TV. Entonces con eso creo que ya no te puedes perder y puedes ubicar fácilmente el exit ticket y responder las preguntas que te están solicitando. No te olvides de poner tu correo electrónico, porque ahí es donde vamos a rebotar los materiales que se han estado viendo en los webinars de hoy y los anteriores.
Así es, además recordarles que va a estar por 45 minutos nada más colocado aquí en colocado el ticket para que ustedes puedan ingresar y colocar todas sus respuestas. Les pedimos entonces, por favor, que vayan y agarren su lápiz y lo escriban lo más rápido posible para que todos puedan recibir sus regalitos y poder además participar para el certificado que ya pronto se les va a hacer entrega. Entonces, ahora sí, les agradecemos a todos su participación y los esperamos la próxima semana, que ya tienen una cita con todos nosotros, y muchas gracias además por formar parte de la gran comunidad English Teachers in Perú. Los invito a mis colegas y compañeros para podernos despedir de todos ustedes. Teachers, prendamos nuestras camaritas. Gracias.
Estamos ya con los aplausos. Muchísimas gracias a todos por habernos acompañado el día de hoy. On behalf of English Teachers in Peru community, thank you for participating in today's webinar. See you on Friday at the same time. We have another great webinar for you. Listo, ahora sí, estamos todo el equipo de administradores que ha hecho posible el día de hoy tener un webinar más con ustedes, y agradecerle de corazón a Miss Nefty, que es el corazón de nuestra comunidad, está con nosotros desde hace muchísimo tiempo. Ustedes la pueden ver en nuestro grupo, comparte mucho material, comparte estrategias, y realmente el día de hoy creo que hemos aprendido mucho de ella, y también vamos a seguir aprendiendo en los próximos webinars sobre la constancia. Antes de despedirnos, quiero aclarar algo, porque hay bastantes preguntas y deseamos que esto quede bien claro. Bien, con respecto a las constancias de participación, recuerden que el ciclo de webinars son aproximadamente 12 webinars los que se están programando, porque pues les tenemos buenas noticias. Muchos ponentes quieren compartir con ustedes, creo que tienen un corazón muy noble, dado que lo están haciendo pues sin recibir absolutamente nada más a cambio que la gratitud de la comunidad y de todos ustedes, queridos maestros. Y al finalizar todo este ciclo de webinars, considerando la asistencia que han tenido en cada uno de ellos, pues se estará viendo el tema de la constancia de participación que se les hará llegar, y para ello es muy importante que el exit ticket esté llenado, esté registrado en cada fecha que corresponde a su asistencia. Bien, ahora sí, un abrazo para todos. Miss Nefty, una vez más, muchísimas gracias por el webinar de hoy. Miss Ángela Salazar Barreda, Miss Evelyn Pita, Miss Jocelyn Flores, Teacher David Cuadros, Teacher Kurt Vilela, Miss Nefty Ford, Teacher Kevin Laura, Miss Maite Flores, Miss Julie Miñones, Teacher José Ortega, Miss Tabita Naya, todo el equipo de administradores de English Teachers in Perú se despide de ustedes. Hasta una próxima edición. Bye, bye.